Hey guys, welcome back to episode 10 of All the Mods 10. We have hit double digits, and that is further than I thought I'd take this. And in the previous episode, I messed up. All of the crafting ME pattern providers behind me were not the extended kind, so between episodes I've gone back and recrafted a stack of extended pattern providers just to replace all of these. Also, nobody told me, but I completely forgot to put in the acceleration cards for the extended assemblers too. Come on, y'all got to tell me. You can't just leave me hanging like that. Also, between episodes, I accidentally claimed all of my quests, and I ended up with all of these seeds that I now have to add to the system. So I'm guessing I'm gonna have to make a new one of these cassettes to craft up all of these seeds. So we got stone, spider, platinum, refined obsidian, tin, nature, crimson iron, air essence, and nickel. Now, something a little strange has happened to me here, and that is the fact that even though I have filled up all of these, right, all 9 times 3, which is 27 slots of auto crafting availability are filled up here, this barrel has one empty slot, and I can't for the life of me figure out what this empty slot is for. Oh, never mind. While going through these patterns, I've noticed I have energized twice. Right, that clears it up, because I was slowly ordering these in order of their appearance over here, and it took me getting up to this point to recognize that that's the one that's doubled up. Alright, minor confusions aside, I want to experiment with the energy P2P tunnels, because I would like to get the last 3 faces from the core of this cube to receive power from a P2P tunnel, and then get back the 3 extra faces for more P2P channels. Do I need them? Oh god, no, absolutely not. I do not need more channels. But it's a matter of principle. So let me try and recreate the setup here. I've got one of these, one of those, and then that gets connected to a wireless connector. That's the controller side. And then the output side would be something like this, right? So I'll put down a gate, give it a P2P, and I want to see if that thing will receive power. Now, I imagine to kickstart the system, I would need the system itself to be powered. So I guess I'll put something down like so, and just to have power in the system, because of course if the system doesn't receive any power, then nothing receives power. Right, I guess on second thought I could explain that a little better. For these to communicate on any channels, the whatever network they're connected to needs to have power in it, and that's what this energy acceptor is doing. Now I should clear that, link it to that, link it to that, and now both of these are linked to each other. Now this should be the input side, so this is 222D, and that is the output side. And hey, the device is online. Except this isn't what the setup is quite like, so hold on, I gotta make some changes. In the real setup, this isn't over here. There's a controller that interfaces between the two, and then I have a P2P channel tunnel thing, and then I get one of these. So this would be the new input, and this would be the new output. And does this thing still have power? The only way to know for sure is to take it off and put it back down. And sure enough, this receives a charge pretty much instantly. Now if I turn these off, these would eventually run out of power. Or are they just self-powering? That is so amusing. What? Do they not need power constantly? But anyways, no, well, yeah, no, these are both powered because this guy is slowly using up its charge. I see how it is. And now that this has run out, these are both offline, this is offline, and this will eventually run out of power. Okay, I get it. So, on either end, one of the controllers needs to be powered. And I've just realized I never talked about how I even got energy P2P tunnels in the first place, because they have no crafting recipe. There exists something called P2P attunement, And by clicking anything that is a battery, it turns into a P2P channel. By clicking it with a bucket, you get a fluid. By clicking it with a spellbook, you get a spell thing. By clicking it with one of these, you get a source thing. By clicking with the tank, you get a gas thing, so on and so forth for every single other type. So in our case, if I right click it with a cable, it turns into a P2P tunnel, and you cannot put energy things on a P2P tunnel, so the gate pops off. And of course, since its device type changed, it is now unlinked from the old energy P2P. Anyways, now that this guy is done and is a good showing of a proof of concept, I think I'm ready to wirelessly power my entire cube. And so hypothetically, if I just peel off a channel up here, grab myself one of these, and then make it a energy P2P, and this guy has a battery in it, so if I right click, this turns into an energy P2P. I should now be able to put a gate over here. This would be my input side, and then this guy is connected to the white cables, I believe. I can say, highlight the remote guy, and it should be somewhere. Yeah, right there. This guy right here. And so I should be able to take that ID and give it to, I don't know, this guy. And because it was an energy P2P, this has realized that it's an energy P2P and it is the output side. Now with all that being said, I should, again, hypothetically be able to shrink myself down, swap into hover mode, and go into the depths of the controller, down that way. It's a little bit fiddly to navigate through, and I should be able to remove this ender gate entirely. I don't need it anymore, right? And this, oh, it's losing power. I don't quite understand why. Why is this losing power? I should, oh wait, it's not. Oh, it loses a bunch and then charges back up again. That's a little bit trippy, but hey, that just means that now I don't have to lose another channel. I can get more from this controller by just doing that. Hell yeah. Now this does make the system a single point of failure in the sense that if this cable ever goes down or this P2P tunnel ever gets broken for whatever reason, or maybe this subnet loses power. By subnet I mean not a literal AE2 subnet, but just these white cables ever lose power, then I'm in a world of trouble. Well, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed that little montage of me cleaning up. But while I was doing that, I was chatting away in the Discord talking about the controller, and I was reminded that I should be able to send power through the channels themselves. So in this case, none of these are actually powered except for this energy acceptor that has a gate on it. And this P2P is an input, but it's a regular ME P2P. And this is the output. So in this scenario, this P2P tunnel is receiving power from this energy acceptor. So this network has power which is continued into this controller. And as you can see, it dips down and then it pops back up every time it pulls more energy from the acceptor. So I think if I just hijack not even a full channel, because of course you don't need channels to transmit power, I should just be able to power the entire thing off of any old P2P instead of losing a P2P tunnel to energy like this guy. I'll set that up probably anywhere because it doesn't really matter. I'll be right back. Also, this thing gave me way too much trouble, but I'll get back to this in a second. So what this essentially boils down to is the fact that even though these ME-P2P tunnels are fully saturated, I should be able to plonk this guy down and then do that. Now what this does is it sends power through this cable back to the controller, just like in the little mock setup I made. And this does also mean that I should be able to pop off the ME-P2P right here, like so. And if I just remove that cable, hopefully now this extended pattern provider doesn't have a channel, but the power should dip down and it pops right back up. This is perfect. I'm gonna go look into why this isn't receiving a channel, but I'll be right back. So this guy is the one that's under consideration here, and it says it's got 2 outputs and it's carrying full 32 channels. But if I go over here and I check it out, oh, it's the other one, hold on, it's this one. This guy is only carrying 31 channels. That leads me to believe that something in my base I have accidentally configured with that P2P tunnel that is using an extra, I need to make a way to get there, that's using an extra channel somewhere. I wonder where that is. Aha, and it's this guy right here. So my automation for my reactor that I set up in the montage is what's causing me all this trouble. Hold on. You see, that's a rather easy fix because right above it, I have an ME-P2P that is powering my terminals up top, and I should be able to yoink that one instead because this is the general purpose one that I have decided to use. You know, I guess I can do a little bit of a better job at explaining what I mean. So, of course, I would like my P2P tunnels to have multiple channels. In fact, I would like them to use all 32 to make full use of every single face of the controller, but I don't always need 32 channels everywhere. For example, in the montage, again, I believe you saw me hook up this guy to a P2P tunnel, and that was the same one right there as the one this thing is hooked onto. So, yeah, I don't need a full 32 channel band for this, but I end up using the same one in multiple places until it gets saturated, at which point I can move on to the next one. And I was hoping to do the same for automating that guy, but I clearly just misclicked and selected the wrong one. Let me know if that makes sense. And you know, these fluctuations of power have me a little bit tensed up, so I'm probably gonna steal a few dense cells and just connect them up into the network in random places just so I don't run out of power. But now that I am here, as you might assume, today's to-do list involves nothing but automation because I am sick and tired of this blob and it's on its way out and I've never been happier. So I guess I can hide this dense cell right here, and that's got another whole boatload of power, and I can just stack them in the corners if I ever feel like it becomes a problem. And I'd like to begin all of that by getting myself a wireless terminal. And I guess I'm spoiled for choice here. I'm just gonna go with the crafting terminal because I can, and it's the basic simple choice. Now I am just realizing that a bunch of these auto crafting things I would have to use the old system for, and in the spirit of the janktastic solutions, I have another one up my sleeve. And it looks like this. I'm hoping everything just comes online. Oh, wait a minute. Of course, I had to link it to a P2P tunnel beforehand. So, for the sake of its temporary nature, I select this guy to be the P2P tunnel. Ta-da! And now magically, the old system has been given a new life. Just gonna hook that back up, and hopefully everything sings and wears back to life. So to make this guy, I would need all of this, which I can autocraft. Set that up, and I have moved my auto-crafting patterns over here. And what are we missing then? With these, I can request an autocraft with the crafting table. Oh, nice. Oh, and I can request multiple crafts at the same time. What a godsend. Let's do that, and then... Okay, I will have to make more patterns, I'm assuming. Also, I found out that you can't just shift-click into... I swear the recipe's moved on me, I'm so confused. 4 of these, and I should now be able to make the dense one. And then I should be able to make one of these. Perfect. Now, to connect these to each other, and this is currently being charged by my wireless connector, now next I would need an access point, which thankfully I can craft just like that. Like so. And I can plonk this guy right here. Now I can take this and link this to that. Now, the best part is, I have access to my crafting terminal wirelessly through my, well, it's called the wireless crafting terminal. Of course, it gives me wireless access. Moreover, if you check out the universal terminal, I can combine any number of wireless terminals together to make a universal terminal, which will have multiple tabs. And that's what I'm going to do next. I shall make myself a pattern encoding and pattern access terminal and then combine all of them. Now, rather importantly, in my opinion, I'm going to set this to be Control E, just so that I can press E and it opens my inventory, and if I hit Control E, it opens this. And the best part about this is the fact that it goes in any curio slot, so I can just shift right click and it picks any slot that it can fit into, and I can press Control E. However, I shall put it in the crafting table on a stick slot because, well, it is technically a crafting table that I can carry around. And just like so, I have all of them. So I should now hypothetically be able to combine both of these to make a universal terminal that has a crafting and pattern access terminal, and then add my pattern encoding terminal onto it. Now if I put this in here, I can hit Control E and then swap between my different patterns or my different terminals and have all of them at hand. Now by default, this guy has a range of 16 meters, so I guess if I leave or go one chunk away, which I guess is this far away, suddenly I'm wireless out of range. And I do not like the fact that I have a range limitation on my wireless network, so I'm going to make myself a quantum link. I believe the entire setup is called a quantum bridge, and I called it a quantum link because that's what the chamber is called. So to make myself one of these, I would need 8 of these guys and 1 of these. And I think it's about time I set this up as an autocraft. You know, something that I found rather annoying is the fact that I can't shift-click recipes into my pattern access terminal, but that's alright. It's a little bit of a grievance every time. And in case you're wondering why I'm separating these out, it's so that a bunch of these are laid out across all of them instead of filling these pattern providers one at a time. Because let's say I put all of my wooden items in this guy, right? Let's say I want to make drawers. So I make the planks, then I make the thing, then I make the planks from the logs, and then I convert those logs into sticks, and then I make a drawer, and then I make a frame drawer, so on and so forth. So every time I request one of those crafts, just one crafter is being used, and so I cannot parallelize. Now, I have co-processing units in all of my crafting computers, which means I have the ability to parallelize, and you know, I can increase the probability of that happening by adding patterns going down vertically instead of side to side. Now that that is out of the way, I can already get me one of these because I requested those crafts, and now I should be able to request 8 ring pieces as well. So 8 of these, hit next, and it's taking a second. That's okay. Let's see what it's doing. And it's done. And now that I have a wireless crafting unit, you can see that in the top left, I'll get an autocomplete notification should I not be in the crafting terminal. And to answer the question of where I will be putting this, I think this guy belongs smack bang in the middle. So I'm going to put it right here. Put the ring down and then break the 8 blocks around it. And they look like they're separate blocks until you finish the multi-block, in which point they connect. And to give this guy some channels, I'm just going to pull another cable down right there. And I just have to make sure it doesn't accidentally connect back into the wireless connector over there. And that is what it has done, and thus you see all of this flashing. Every time it tries to boot, it realizes it's missing a channel, and that's because it's trying to connect to the little network in the back there. There we go. That's all stabilized. The quantum link is up, and now all I need is what goes in the middle here. But I would like to make this look ever so slightly pretty, so I'm going to cover up what I can, and I believe that also should get a cover, but I don't think I can click that. Oh, I can. Perfect. And of course, I can't leave the bottom alone now, can I? And what goes in the middle here is one of these, a quantum entangled singularity. So to make myself one of these, I would need to use preferably tiny TNT with ender dust, a singularity, and the explosion results in quantum entanglement. Now the best part about all of this is the fact that I have all of these at hand, and I can just autocraft a singularity on request, or on demand I should say. Should be here any second. And of course I don't have gunpowder, but I do believe I have creeper seeds. I should be able to craft this up using some creeper essence. Turns out I never planted them. What a shame. Let's change that. Boop, boop, boop. And now I have gunpowder. A whole load of it too. Back to tiny TNT. I should now be able to make myself one of these, and redstone, a block of redstone will suffice. I just need to put down one of these, and then okay. Back to before OBS reminded me that I have extremely limited storage space for new clips. I was gonna do one of these. Put this down, throw this on the ground, throw that on the ground right next to it, and then blow them up. Et voila. I now have quantum entangled singularities. Now if I put this back in this, suddenly the device is online. And if I do that, I was under the impression I would be able to put the quantum entangled singularity somewhere in here. Hold on. Do I need to relink it? Is that what's up? Do I need to go in here and say, hey, you know, the network now has one of these? What? Alright, after a little bit of research, I have found out that what I'm looking for is a quantum link card, and that's one of these, which is, again, easy enough to craft. I don't know why I didn't remember. But if I take one of these, and then put it in this guy, no, not there, there, I now have an upgrade slot where I can put this. And now, suddenly, I don't think I even need this anymore. I should just be able to use this, because the quantum ring now connects to my universal terminal. Perfect. And you know what? I am considering putting down some of these framed floorboards, just so that I don't get the experience of walking on this uneven surface. So I'm just going to grab my glax, the same stuff that I used downstairs. And in fact, can I use the fancier glax, the basic glax? And hopefully that crafts up nearly instantly, thanks to the new high-speed crafters that I have used. Yeah, that looks mighty fine, in my opinion. So if I now access my wireless crafting terminal, or sorry, my pattern access terminal, directly from my thingamabob, I can now interact with every single pattern provider in my network from right here. Now I noticed that this guy is completely empty, and I believe this one is one of those ones over there. I was checking if this guy would show up, and of course it doesn't because it's on a subnet. So I wanted to know about that guy's status because today is POWAH Day. Yes, folks, you heard it here first. I'm going to ignore the blob once again and set up POWAH automation because I love procrastinating. Hooray. No, it's actually because I would need more power, and I would like to have more power before I set up any large-scale automation in the walls on the sides. And to set up more reactors, I would need POWAH automated. And, well, here we are. So I'm just gonna divide this room into quadrants and I guess have 4 POWAH orbs that will autocraft for me. You know, as I've been flying around, I've realized that the first thing I would like to request from this guy is patterns. I would like to have blank patterns in stock. How do I operate these? I would love to know. Do I have to drag it in from my inventory? Seems like I do. So, now that that's there, I would like to keep 64 patterns in stock. And I would like you to craft them 2 at a time. That's a little bit buggy. Well, I guess 1 at a time is fine because they genuinely always just craft 2 at a time. So, I can just click submit changes. And now it should just slowly keep crafting patterns up until it gets 64. Now the real question is which one of my computers is doing this crafting, because that was the entire point of the twinkly lights. Right, and now that I have patterns in my pattern provider, I should be able to start making patterns and then directly putting them in right here. And the first patterns I would like to encode is for universal cables. Now I did set up jank automation for all of the alloys from mechanism, but I would like to formalize those once I am out of my blob phase. But currently, where these are being produced is nothing but a blob. So I don't feel like showing that on video. It is genuinely just a couple of machines that are doing this, and like I said, janktastic. However, now I should be able to request 64 of these, and just that'll do its thing while I prep up this room right here. Ooh, that's a little painful. I didn't realize that, given the fact that these are 9 wide, trying to dissect this room into quadrants would make these an even number. That is awfully painful, if I'm being honest. Let me see what I can come up with. And I'm thinking that I go all out and genuinely just build a single energizing orb directly in the middle of this room, right here. So this here will be a pattern provider, which I can now grab from here, like so. And I've been carrying around an energizing orb for the longest time for this exact purpose, and that goes right here. Now to connect this guy up to my system network, system/network, I'm just gonna dig for straight ahead until I merge into this guy right here, and then pull a cable up to here, where I can put another P2P tunnel and set up a link to this guy. And again, I'm specifically gonna take this guy. Oh, crap. Well, I guess it's time to reset this and go create new inputs for everything, which includes this, that, and I believe a couple others. Okay, take 2. I take this guy. There we go. I don't know why that didn't work the first time. So shift right clicked or right clicked or something. Now that is correct. And I should now be able to finally hook up my POWAH automation. Like so. Fortunately for me, that entails setting up a whole boatload of recipes. So, you know what time it is. Starter, basic, ardent, blazing, chaotic, spirited. Now, of course, I can't set up a crafting recipe for the highest tier of power rods, but that would mean I couldn't request them, and I can't request them until I have rods set up in the first place. So, with all of this set up, I believe I should just be able to request a stack of the highest tier that I can afford, and I believe that is the spirited. So 64 of these, and ooh, I'm missing lava. That is something I can fix rather easily. You see, this guy Okay, never mind. I cannot fix that easily. I was under the impression that this would be cheaper to make. It isn't. Oof. And I thought that was cheaper because I'm confident that there's other infinity cells that are cheaper, right? I'm not. Yeah, see, there's a bunch of these, and they're all fairly cheap. I don't. Why is the lava one so goddamn expensive? I guess all of them, other than water, cobblestone, are just super expensive. I guess that does sort of make sense. I do believe there's a lava bucket crafting recipe using fire essence. And guess who has all of these materials at the ready? So, I'm just gonna encode this recipe instead. Is it the perfect solution? Absolutely not. But is it a solution that works? Of course it is. Now I only hope that these recipes don't make the system craft up thousands and thousands of buckets of lava every time I request this. But fortunately I get to check when this happens. So I can just toss these in here. And we find out together if I request a bunch of rods, not plural, and I would request spirited rods, that just says stack. Well, it requires buckets of lava again. But it's, I don't quite understand why. So, if I just remove this lava tank, what happens then? Can I still request a stack of 64? No, it still just wants buckets. Why would you want, not buckets, sorry. It still just wants the fluid. What does it need the fluid for? I don't understand. I believe it wants the fluid lava to produce these guys, and more specifically dielectric paste. And sure enough, here it says it wants 1 bucket lava, and it did not fix it. I guess I just had to get more lava. That's a shame, really. Well, I forgot to turn off bucket mode before putting down the lava, but here we are with 127 buckets. I lost a bunch to the sink, because you can just right-click items into the sink, and it'll just void fluids like that. I hate that. And I was 7 buckets short, so I'm taking all of this lava, piping it into the bigger tank, and hopefully I'm not 7 buckets short then. There we are. I should just be able to start. And it'll do its thing. Craft up a whole bunch of these. And it'll be golden. And hey, you can see which one's making what. And the system works perfectly. And here too, you can see that that guy's crafting something. I wonder what. I don't know. Neat. Hey, look at that. Perfect. And now I should be... Oh, I'm gonna have to pick them up one at a time. That is annoying as all hell. But now I should be able to take my pipes. What are they called for mechanism? These guys. Ultimate universal cables for power. And slap down ender gates on those. Now I have heard that the range for these guys is 9 blocks. And I'm willing to put that to the test by requesting, not this, Nitro. And I can only request in batches of 16, so I will do exactly that. I'll hit start, and hell yeah, this is doing the thing. Perfect. And I'm hoping to set up a setup similar to my Certus Quartz farm right there, where I'm using a puller module Mark II in this case, and then hopefully a center module Mark II as well to send back into the pattern provider, because otherwise there's no real way to get the crystal out. So for the sake of this, I'm gonna put this right here. Say pull from not that inventory, this guy right here, and I guess this means that it is pulling from the right side face. I do not wish to do that. I wish to pull from the bottom face. So I'm gonna have to pop this out. Go down here, select the bottom face. I'll put the pattern provider back in. But now I should be able to do one of these. And that's bound to this. And I should be able to then put the pattern provider back in because that is where the sender module Mark II will send into. Now I should be able to put this here and request another batch 16 to see the magic happen. And that goes down there, gets pulled out. It's doing them one at a time, but I believe that can be sped up with stack upgrades and speed upgrades. And each router supports 6 of these, and what I'm missing is actually bricks, so there's no real way for me to automate bricks quite yet, but I think I can just request 300 clay balls and then run to my furnace. Actually, I lied. I can automate these fairly easily. Now that I have the wireless thing, I just didn't feel like doing that, because, well, why do that now when I can do it later? It's a problem for later case. Our current case has bigger things to deal with. And I also do not like the little lasers that it creates. So I'm going to put in mufflers, and the muffler upgrade removes the particles. So one suppresses the sound effects from things like breaking blocks, and 2 or more will suppress particles, and that is exactly what I want, so I'll just put in 3. Now, with all of this setup, I can finally put in the final rod and say, you know, whatever I had in the past, that's okay. I want to make the best rod there is. The Nitros. 64 of those, please. I'm now missing 16 buckets of lava and a few nether stars, both of which are fixable problems. The lava problem is easily fixable by yoinking the old lava from the old home base and pushing all of this lava into this new tank. And the wither is easily fixable by grabbing the wither prediction, or not the wither prediction, but the wither model out of this guy and putting it in the simulation chamber. And this guy has been running for long enough that it succeeds about 25% of the time. And I just need to wait for a few minutes. Probably go grab myself a cup of water or something. Hopefully it's done by then. And we're back. I let it do its thing, and that's still gonna keep making me more nether stars. But as these are crafting up, I should just grab these and put more of these down. So, boop. And the more I put down, the faster this goes. So, it's a self-fulfilling system where I can just keep putting down more and more of these. And over time, this process becomes pretty much instantaneous. And this was my grand vision all along. A bed of energizing rods, all pointed and linked to a singular orb in the middle. You know, this might seem like overkill for now, and you know, it absolutely is overkill. And I was gonna say it's future-proofing actually. But I do believe even in the future, I wouldn't be needing these recipes or rods in such great excess. If I'm to check out the enriching orb, not the enriching orb, what is it called? The energizing orb, I should be able to look at all of the recipes. And yeah, some of these require max int, 9 million. And this is another max int. So every single creative recipe requires, this guy requires 1.8 million. This guy requires 9. Okay, but those are just compressed blazing crystal blocks. Those don't count. But yeah, some of these fancy endgame recipes require billions of FE. So, you know, having about 20 million on hand at all times, times, I don't know, 80, wouldn't go so bad. Doesn't seem so bad, does it? Craft up 16 more. And I'm missing 4 nether stars, but I can just grab them out of right there. That little janktastic little guy right there. There's 12. And I should be able to request 16 of these, no problem. And what are the chances it'll be completely done crafting by the time I get there? Because that's pretty much instantaneous. In fact, I feel like I can put in speed upgrades for the router. And how many does this take? Max 9. I should just be able to craft 9 of these and then toss that in there. And we'll see what happens. You know, setting all of this up does also have me wondering, what would this look like if the energizing orb is a block higher than this? Because currently it's at eye level. And it doesn't seem like it's the centerpiece of this show. I would like it to be the centerpiece of this show right here. What if it was up there instead? I guess I find out in a second. Kinda like that. Well, I'm gonna have to reset up the little router automation down there, but I wonder how that looks when it's running. Alright, let's see. If I just ask for 16 more. Yeah, I do like this much more. And you guys did see how fast that was. That was amazing. That was instantaneous. Well, something you guys do not know is that I have had an ulterior motive this entire time. And that is the fact that I want to automate the production of gates. So, that's a crafting pattern, that's a crafting pattern, and that's a crafting pattern. This guy is a processing pattern that goes in here. Now, I should be able to request nitro gates by the stack, but I believe I might be short of things like blaze and ender pearls at some point because those aren't currently automated. However, oh, I didn't set that back up into blocking mode, did I? Crap, hold on. I should be able to pull these out in an order that makes sense. There we go. Perfect. And rather disappointingly, I had to cancel that craft because, well, it got stuck and was unable to craft the final four. However, if I did that and that, finally, we get a stack of nitro gates. Perfect. I don't know about this glax. It's a little too transparent. It did a good job with the blue tint for my controller, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to break all of these because I don't know, these aren't cutting it for me. Oh, of course, this works much better. I just have to be careful to not poke holes into my base while using that. Well, I guess that's a job for you guys. You guys can tell me what I can use as glass down here. You know, what this also means is that with all of this automation, I can now request nitro reactors, multiple at a time, so I should be able to just say start and let the system cook up my nitro reactors for me. There it is. And now, I should be able to grab all of these out and just double up my power. It's just that simple. I would need another export bus, and once I put one of these over here, grab another one of those, I should be able to use my memory card, clear it first, and then copy this export bus configuration onto the memory card, and paste it over here. And magically, well, it's offline. That is quite the nightmare. What happened here? Oh, that's part of the things that I was supposed to redo but never did. So that is a full 32. That is a full 32. That is a full 32. That is just 8. And this was the one that I wanted to pick out. If I shift right click this from an empty controller, I should now be able to add this automation to that single node. There we go. And all of it should roar back to life. And as if by magic, this guy gets its dry ice, its block of redstone, its block of coal, and eventually a little bit of water. It's uraninite, of course. And then a little bit of water, and boom, we're online. Reactor numero dos. Now I just gotta slap one of these onto its power tap. Right there. And set its eastern side to be an extract. Oh, of course, all sides are extracts. And now I can generate 500,000 Fe per tick, approximately. Cool. And this little guy is going full bore as well. You know, it's it's great when a plan works out perfectly like that. And reactor number 3 should be well on its way. And with the power of being ready in advance, I already set up the export bus and everything. Reactor number 3. And just like that, number 4. To make these look prettier, I think I'm gonna go with like a trim sort of dealio on the side. Like so. And the idea was always to have a setup where these are inset into the wall just like that. So wait a minute. Are these placed differently on both sides? No, they're not. They just have a lot taller ledge on this side. So I should just be able to drag this line across here. And I'm not fully satisfied with this. I wonder what I can change. Let me cook something up. I don't know. Maybe. Okay, now hold on. I forgot these existed. So if I just do that, and then do this, and then do that. Hey, that doesn't look half bad. I'm joking. I don't like it at all. What do I do with this space? I'm still so confused. Or optionally, I could just embrace how silly this looks and just do that. You know, I like it. I don't like this ledge right here, and unfortunately, I don't think there's much I can do about it because right above it is the floor. Unless I can use these guys, which I have now trashed. I wonder how that would look. Yeah, actually, now that I've taken a step back, I'm quite happy with this. Also, I should just get rid of this. This came down when I was trying to dig up there for... Yeah, I kind of like that. I'll replicate it on the other side. You know, I've just been down here placing a floor to set up automation on the other flanking side. What the hell is this? Have the Endermen learned how to play the one block jump civilization? Is that what's happened here? Do you go for the polished calcite, or do you go for the kiwi? The choice is yours. Nobody ever jumps for the kiwi, do they? Minor distractions aside, the next thing on my to-do list was to address all of this little bits of automation I've left hanging about, including the jank. And the only way to get rid of the jank is to formalize it, like I've been mentioning for so long. And instead of continuing to build on the right side, which I feel like has gotten enough love, I'm gonna build all of that on the left. So I'm gonna have to build up some infrastructure. Now, between clips, I've also remembered that the wireless card, or the wireless terminal thing, supports a magnet card, and I forgot about this, but it also supports pick block and restocking using the network. So if I turn these off real quick, you can see that the numbers in my hotbar change. So if I enable restock, it tells me that I have, what, 275 odd with these polished calcites, and it also enables pick block. So if I then toss these in here, in fact, I can pretty much toss all of this in here. If I say pick block, which is middle mouse button, I can now automatically grab stuff out of the ME storage system and have it on my hotbar. Now, it seems to be a little bit buggy with stacks like that. I don't quite understand why it's doing that twice. But you know what? It's much, much better than having to fiddle around. And in this corner, I'm going to put all of my mechanism automation. But I'm going to do it a little differently. I've only seen it done the way I like to do it a couple times. Most people try to set this up, and by this I mean a pattern provider that does all of the enriching recipes into some sort of barrel, into the advanced infusing factory that is set up to accept the extra from one side and the inputs from the other. That is because the infusing factory cannot accept both the extra or the infusing material and the material to be infused from the same side. So you have to do this sort of janktastic setup to do that. But I like to set it up slightly differently, where I use chemical oxidizers to already have redstone as a material present in the system, which can then be piped as a gas into here. And I guess in this scenario, having a 4-tall setup works perfectly. So I already set this up. Not the pattern providers, I mean the recipes for the chemical oxidizers, and I should just be able to request 4 of these. They'll be in here any second. And already I'm noticing a change in the way I work here. I have started doing things like, hey, I would need 4 import buses. I might as well make a pattern for it, and then just toss it in here somewhere. Like this. Actually, I should be a little bit more disciplined about this. Just put this here. And then I can just request. No, I'll craft 20 for now. And there'll be some for later. In fact, I've already done a whoopsie. I needed export buses, not import buses. Of which I have 9. And I've already done the same treatment to these. So all of these would get export buses. One would get, and then I would go down the line and put in, and each one of these would then get a crafting cart. And then connections. And to make life a little bit easier, I'm going to make myself a little configuration card that lets me copy configurations and then paste them. So I'm going to shift right click to copy, right click to paste. And now all of these have the configuration of inputs, actually forced inputs on the right, and then outputs on the left. And they're going to output directly into infusion factories. Just like so. And so to configure these, I've already gone through and shift-clicked this guy, which clears everything. For chemicals, I would like the left side to be input. For items, I would like the left side to be extra. I'm unsure which one is which, if it considers it a chemical or an extra, but if it's either one, it'll be considered in this case. I want the left to be input-output, because I would like to put the pattern providers on this side. Now, I don't quite like the look of this big pattern provider, so I'm gonna go with the little ones like I have for the POWAH setup out there. Cool. And now I should be able to just plonk these bad boys down, and that will be my setup. I would pull a power cord in the back, and that'll be that. And now they should all be receiving power too. Wait, I didn't set this up to receive power from the back. So I go power, back, input. Cool. Now I should be able to take my configuration card, clear it, shift right clicking the air or the ground or something. Shift right click this guy to copy, and then paste this all the way up. And now if the top one has the correct settings, which it seems like it does, we're good. And you know what? I like the fact that this is a nice little neat box, so I'm going to close it off right here. This is going to be one module of this assembly line, factory floor. I don't know what to call this. And I'm also just going to cover these up with cable anchors, but from the back, so I don't have to look through these and see what's behind them. Perfect. But of course, to set something up like this, you would need something to enrich all of these materials. So, it's time to make some patterns.